GSL up and down matches. I am Wolf. With me is Kaldor. And as I said before, up next we have SuHoSin against Polt. Here are our current results.
We have Polt, Mainz, and Ryang with a win, and Jakji is already down 2 maps, while SuHoSin still has a lot of chances, but he has to defeat his next opponent. And this is gonna be quite the battle, as he is facing the TSL player. He's facing Polt, and he's facing him on Metropolis.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty tough map, I think, for Suho. We see a lot of Ling run-bys on this map. We see a lot of Zerg aggression here. But the late-game Polt is something I would never want to face in this matchup. Never, ever, ever, never. He is so good. He can lose his entire army and have a second one ready in seconds and go and kill you with it.
His decision-making in the late game against Zerg is just brilliant. I talked to him quite a lot about this, and he said as soon as he's able to get into late game, he feels like he has an advantage over his opponent just because he's so comfortable with it and he played it so often so that he knows exactly what to do. And even though a lot of Terran players are, I don't want to say complaining, but struggle against the late game Zerg compositions, he's just such a scary opponent.
He doesn't care, man.
Yeah, even if you have the perfect unit composition, there's always the Polt factor.
Polt is someone whose Marine split is so good. I would never ever want to go Banelings against him. Just don't do it, man.
He's crazy. The guy is insane. And well, the map has started, guys. We are heading into our 4th game today. It is SuHoSin against Polt here at the GSL Up Announced with Kaldor and Wolf. In the orange to the left side of the map, we have our Zerg player. We have
SuHoSin.
SuHoSin with a pretty stable record against Terran, 53% win ratio. He has played 50 competitive games against Zerg. It's his worst matchup though. He's way better in the Zerg mirror matchup, and also his matchup against Protoss is slightly better. The last games that he played in this particular matchup were against Nuclear and Hack, and he's on 1-1 in this particular against Terran. To the top, you have his opponent though. This is the TSL player. It is
TSL Polt.
Polt playing almost only TVZ exclusively this past weekend at MLG. Only played one other match, which was in fact his TVP against MC that he lost.
He also lost against Violet at MLG with a 2-1, but he was able to defeat Symbol and Bly.
So
it's actually really funny that he... Sorry that I'm interrupting you there, but that's actually pretty cool. He won against Bly with a 2-0, and Polt is one of these players who plays a lot of tournaments on the European server as well, and for some reason, every single time he's participating in tournaments like the MSI Cup, he's facing Bly at some point. Or in the Zote Cup finals, in the final he will suddenly face Bly. And at this time, it's 7 o'clock in Korea. Polt will have been up the entire night and always plays kind of very all-in strategies against Bly. And Bly was able to win most of the best of 5s with a 3-2. And Polt just told me, okay, I'm so tired, and I of course also have lag. And I always wanted to see the both of them facing each other at an offline event. And now he's facing Bly at MLGN, and he wins the map kinda. Did you cast these games?
No, I was not able to cast those. I think those were off the main stage. I didn't see them either.
Okay, so, well, he won with 2-0. I would really like to know if there was close matches or he just obliterated him.
Well, with how he was playing, man, I bet he obliterated him. I mean, he just looked unstoppable. His style, to put this into perspective for you guys who did not see and have not been watching Polt recently, is just to play with a faster third command center. He likes to get the Banshees out with the third command center as well when he double gasses. Sometimes he goes Banshees, sometimes he just gets a faster third command center and skips the Banshees. But what he does off of 3 base is not take a 4th command center, rally a group of about 11 to 13 Marines that he's making at a time across the map, and never stop attacking until his opponent is dead. And he hardly ever has problems with that, even though he does it every single game practically.
Yeah, he's a very, very aggressive player and has also in the late game a great drop play. But right now we have the expansion for Polt. He's getting this orbital tech. He transitions into Reactor Factory Hellions. For SuHoSin, we have gas now. He started with a normal build, has his expansion up. He's getting additional queens. And we'll have a third queen, so he can start with a creep spread. We're still in a period where a lot of Terran players try to figure out how to deal with the new changes, how to deal with the queen that now has 5 range and is able to defend against Hellions a lot better. Also quite important to note is if you have a queen well positioned and your opponent is sending in an SCV, the SCV will die to the queen before scouting anything at all.
Yep, it's very true as well. That's something that people have really not been talking about enough, I feel. Does have those additional queens coming out. Third hatchery going down as well. Pretty tough to take a third base on this map as Zerg because it's kind of far away. Your creep has to be spread in 2 different directions to get it down there, unless you kill the rocks, but I mean, that's just going to take so long to do that.
One thing that I would also like on this map with a third queen is 1 creep tumor in the main base. We have close air positions, so drop play is always a problem. It's always something that we have to be very careful about. You can position an overlord to the top so that you see if your opponent is sending a medevac over, but if you have the creep spread in your main base as well and just sacrifice 1 tumor, it will be so much easier for you to defend against anything, be it drop play or Hellion, Banshee harass.
I wonder what Suho is going to do with this Roachborn. I'm not sure if his plan is aggression. He does have 6 larvae banked up. It looks like he wants to be, I mean, with 4 overlords, it's looking like he definitely wants to just spam out some roaches for an attack. If
you have 36 Zerglings, this is actually exactly the amount that you used to have when you go for Roach Baneling aggression. And he has speed on its way, so there are 7 Roaches now, and he could just go for a Roach Baneling attack. The third base is the one thing that I'm a little bit curious about, because if you
sometimes
really...
There's the Baneling Nest. Some people do this with 3 bases, just have the third hatchery for extra production.
It helps you with the lava, exactly, and you can. It's easier for you to fall back onto your Echo game.
Yeah, you can fall back to it, and it's kind of a fake out a little bit, like your opponent sees the third base and he's like, oh, he's trying to take a risky third, but in fact, it's Baneling aggression. Polt is forming a wall off at his natural. He does not have any additional bunkers just yet, and the Roaches have been spotted here.
Wow, the Hellions survive every single one of them.
And that's really important because they're going to be very useful against the Banelings and Zerglings that are the follow-up for this.
We already have the Tech Lab as an add-on for the barracks, but the problem that Polt is facing right now is that he doesn't have a siege tank. He did not get siege tanks, and therefore he will not have anything against these roaches. He has to be very careful here.
Yeah,
he needs Marauders.
Start soon, but
he needs tanks. And here comes SuHoSin with this attack. It's exactly the Roach Baneling time we talked about on 36 Harvesters, which is very, very common strategy. And Polt with this wall in will die immediately.
It's not even finished.
Yeah, he will lose every single supply depot. He will be supply blocked quite heavily.
I'm surprised he's not making any additional bunkers. Like, it's as if he doesn't know. He saw the Roaches. I would at least make 1 additional bunker, but he's not doing it. He does repair his Hellions, which is going to be quite helpful. He has to deal with the Roaches somehow. You're right, and he does not have siege tanks. He's about to have 1 tank on the high ground, but it's nowhere near being done.
He will be supply blocked, and heavily at that. He's losing every single supply depot here, and he's already in the negative supply. He will lose his units. Wow, if those Banelings connect with the SCV line, oh my god, he's trying to move them in. Ooh!
That could have been so much better for Polt, but Suho, he has planned 2 all-in strategies in a row, man, and they are both going 2 for 2.
Polt is dying here. He doesn't have anything left.
No,
he already lost 12 workers. He might be able to hold this for now, but he is so far behind. He has still units in his main base. Low ground is being attacked. He only has 2 orbitals. And I have to say, Suho could have done more damage.
But look at this. Now he's got a third hatchery completely set up. He's got a macro hatch going down. The worker count is 60 to 34. He still has Roaches out defending against any possible Hellion aggression that the Polt wants to put on. Now all he has to do is defend against drops, and he's going to be fine.
Polt kind of died. Right now, he's basically dead. He might be able to pull off a comeback here. I've seen Polt do crazy comebacks, so I won't just call the GG
he's definitely
yet,
behind, though.
But he is so far behind that it's going to be horrible for him to come back into this game. Against 3 bases, the saturation that SuHoSin has right now, and even the units that he builds, the Banelings that he gets in order to defend against aggression that comes from Polt, I'm not sure if Polt can win this. This is an amazing lead for SuHoSin. The thing is, he could have done more damage. If he would have just rallied his Roaches over and killed more SCVs or even attacked the main base, could have done more. But as it is, he's already in such a great spot that it's been, especially with the Mutalisks now coming up, it's going to be horrible for Polt to play this game.
Yeah, he's now dropping on the other side. He's going to continue to kind of pick up and go from side to side, trading with these units really, really well.
But to tell you the truth, if there's a Terran player out there right now that I would say is able to pull off a comeback, it's Polt. So
yeah, man, I would say this even more so than MVP or MMA or anyone out there. If
all of them basically,
Polt.
especially with MVP performance, I would not put Polt over MVP, I guess, but still. They are all great Terran players, and they're experienced enough to do this. Polt is getting the third base now, while he is trying to drop. But as soon as the Mutalisk drop play will be ineffective.
It's going to be shut down, yeah.
And SuHoSin will start to attack. He might actually just rally the Mutalisk to his opponent's main base and try to kill some SCVs.
I think that would be the smarter choice at this point. He knows Polt does not have a lot of units out to actually drop. Does clean this drop up. Now he's eliminated the Marine count for the most part in these drops. I think he's going to send the Mutas to harass because he knows that the SCVs are weak, the Marine count is low.
A problem that SuHoSin has, though, is that he did not pay attention to his overlords and to his supply. Therefore, he could only build 5 Mutalisks when the Spire hit. He was supply blocked for a significant amount of time. Now with the transition immediately into the Infestation Pit, as the Mutalisks are just shutting down the drop play.
Looks like he's just going to use them to shut down the drops. He's only going to be using them for that.
He doesn't have too many. Polt, with a nice split decision, went and dropped a few Marines in order to kill Banelings. Very well done.
This position for Polt, though, is, you know, it looks bad, but the thing is, Caldor, he has a third base, and he's Polt. And Polt has a third base. The game is probably not in your favor. That's a joke, of course. I mean, obviously this is a really good position for Suho, but Polt is not out of this yet. He has a third base, saturate. He's got turrets up now. These SCVs are all very low on hit points, though. He might actually lose some just to bounce damage here. 1 SCV, 2 and 3 going down now.
Yep. This is not a good situation for Polt to be in. Just look at how we have the main army of SuHoSin in position. He's already trying to attack the third. He's just waiting for his cue. He's going for Hive +2/+2 for the ground army, even the armor upgrade for his air units and pathogen glands. There we go. Oh, and Polt! He misses the timing for his supply depot. The tanks are going to die. No wall of... Oh, wow. Perfect for SuHoSin. He's rolling in with the Banelings. Keep him rolling. Take down the SCVs. And he killed so many of them. 31 in total already.
Yeah, this is looking terrible, in fact, for Polt. Doesn't even have really an army to back this up. I think he may end up dying. He will have 1 siege tank on the high ground, and his Banelings are not being very effective here. He's actually rolling them into siege tanks. He did not go for the SCVs either. So in the end, Polt will actually, in fact, hold a little bit longer, but the worker count is now 86 to 42, more than double the workers for Suho here. Continue the harassment in the main.
Hive is done. Well, not yet, but it will in a few seconds, and then we will see a Greater Spire. He's getting another base. He is on 4 bases now against 2 mining. Polt still has the command center at the third, but no ACVs over to the top right. This is horrible for Polt. SuHoSin, he can... I have no idea how he could lose this game. He needs to screw up like really, really badly if he wants to lose this match.
Well, some have called Polt a god as well, man. He might be able to just change things.
God?
Yeah.
Okay, that's overdoing it, I think.
Here we go. Polt surrounded again, this time with no retreat. I don't think even a god could get out of this.
No. Even if you put Nesty, well, I don't know. The creator of the universe himself would lose this game.
Well, Polt is going to target down some of these retreating Banelings. Small victory for him there. And he's not crumbling. The problem is he's going to be dealing with the Ultras transition here. 3-3 on the way, as well as Adrenal Glands. No kite in this plane just yet. There it is, as I say that. He heard me. Even
a 5th base is being built. If you put Marine King, Maru, MVP, all in the same booth as Polt, and every single one of them controls a small chunk of the army of Polt, maybe they would be able to get back as a joint
He needs
defense.
to raise the depot
Again, the mistake by Polt
to raise the depot.
This is just horrible. 5 bases against 2 mining. Polt with so many small mistakes, and they are starting to cost him the game. Well,
this is actually a really cost-efficient trade, though, for Polt. He's not losing very much. He lost very few SCVs, in fact.
Yeah, that's right. But the problem is, well, SuHoSin can afford it. 5 bases against 2 mining, even in forcing another scan while borrowing a few Zerglings. And the real problem are going to be the Ultralists of 3-3.
Yeah, he has no real answer for those. He doesn't have the money to start making Marauders with this.
The siege tank count is at 5, even the transition into the Greater Spire now.
Yeah, he's doing everything at once. What can Polt really do? I mean, he's got the 3rd base still up. His command center didn't die. He's dropping triple mules. He has the economy to support what he has right now. But eventually he'll hit a wall where Suho is just trading too well with him.
He will hit the wall rather sooner than later. Once again, he's trying to set up a wall at the low ground, at the ramp, but the problem is he did that twice already, and every single time he missed to lift his supply depot. The Infestors are on full energy. We have the 5th base now equipped with double gas, and, well, Polt is mined out in his main base. He only has the natural and his 3rd, and if he loses the 3rd base, he'll be over.
Yeah,
he's just he's struggling. He's been struggling for 10 minutes,
like,
but
this is... He does try to get the wall up in time, but this time it will not even be in place.
No.
Polt trying to do what he can with his targeting here. He's got siege tanks in a good position. There are too many units, so even the Mutas coming in, Infested Terrans coming forward, and we are seeing the Zerg swarm rain down hell upon Polt.
He's indeed raining down hell on the Terran player. GSL Polt losing siege tanks, killing the Ultralists though, trying to battle against Infested Terrans, but the 3rd base, it has to be lifted once again. Polt is down 70 supply. Oh, wow. S+3/+3 is going to finish the Polt.
He's not saving the command center. He's doing
trying
a drop,
to drop at the bottom, but at the same time, he did not pay attention to his orbital. And the top right, it has fallen, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, as much as we say about the mistakes Polt has made here, he's trading really efficiently still at this base, and I've seen Polt come back from worse situations than this. I would not count him out of it yet, though. He's got, as far as army supply goes, he's down a little bit. It just depends on what he's up against. The total number of Banelings out right now is 0.
The problem is that this initial attack damaged him so hard, it threw him so far off in the game, and that the entire time he is just standing in his corner and SuHoSin is just raining hell upon him.
The fungals that he did not use are really going to be what may come back to bite SuHoSin in this next engagement specifically, because he doesn't have enough energy.
This Ultras was weird.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have enough energy to fungal Polt right now. He's trying to build it up. He's got just almost enough, but Polt is right here, man.
Polt doesn't have income. He is moving his main orbital to a position at the, well, top left, but he has no income at this point, and he's 90 supply behind. He's doing a great job. I mean, it's Polt, and his micro is incredible. A lot of Terran players would have died a lot sooner.
Yeah, but here come the fungals. He fought enough time to get the fungals, and that was what he needed. I think Polt now may be completely out of it. He still had that one chance with his army. He's sending the rest of his army back, trying to reform for a second. He's killed a ton of drones, and the main base is going to get the spawning pool as well here, though. He does not have any other drops going on at the same time, and his orbital will be forced to lift again by these Ultralists.
Without any income, it's just, well, he has a few mineral patches, but here you can see the income right now, 2,300 against 500 per minute.
Right now, Polt's like the master checkers player, but he's playing with like half the pieces of his opponent.
You could see how amazing Polt's unit control and its decision making actually was, but as I said, after the initial fight and the strategy that SuHoSin used with his Baneling Burst, Polt was so far behind that all he could do was try to stay put on 2 bases, try to expand and get a 3rd, but SuHoSin, he was going in for the punch over and over and over again, and he didn't have to trade cost efficiently.
There's a burrowed Ultralist blocking command center. It's not a burrowed Zergling. That's actually so funny.
But that kind of indicates how this game was going. Polt, he's holding on to this game, but it's, I don't know. Yeah, he does not want to lose. He's waiting for a mistake of his opponent that he can exploit.
Earlier I was saying, you know, he's still got a chance. I've seen him come back from worse, but he's now at the point where, like, I don't think it could get any worse for him.
Just look at the resources. 3,800 and 1,000 gas for SuHoSin, even if he loses his entire economy.
Oh, nice split drop here, though. He does kill a hatchery. In fact, doesn't even get the cancel off on it. Oh, he's not going to pick up his units in time, though. The Corruptors are going to take that medevac out.
SuHoSin doesn't care though.
Yeah, he does not.
5,000 minerals by now.
Polt finally scans to kill the Ultralisk at his base. But there's no...
With SCVs! The SCVs are killing the Ultralisk!
He has to scan again. Oh man.
That is so smart. You borrow an Ultralisk and therefore you can force
Well,
two
look
scans.
at how many Ultralisks he has now, man. 13. In fact, there was a moment where Polt could have come back in this game, but this is not it.
Wow.
GG. SuHoSin is practicing this matchup, showing off. I mean, he showed it here. It absolutely showed. Polt, one of the best PvZ players in the world. I mean, TVZ, and I'm like saying all the wrong races here. One of the best TVZ players in the world, showed a great match against Suho, but Suho doing the better job.
Polt is smiling. The problem was just that with the strategy that Polt played, he had a huge problem against his opponent's opening. The Baneling Roach attack did so much damage. And what I really liked about the opening that SuHoSin used here is that he already had the third base up. So with the third base, he never intended to kill Polt right away. He always planned on just falling back to the strategy that he had to the macro game, but just trying to do some damage was actually the right choice.
Yeah.
So he did enough damage, he killed so many SCVs, he forced the lift off, he killed Marines, he took down the supply depots, and suddenly Polt was heavily supply blocked, and then he just fell back to his 3 bases.
Yeah, then he put on the attack later at the third base again with a ton of Banelings when he knew Polt's Marine count was going to be a little bit lower. He made a Spire, used a little bit of mutas that kind of shut down Polt's drop play, but he never really overcommitted to that, only used a little bit of gas on the mutas.
I actually could picture that. Well, I mentioned the supply block when he had the Spire. So what he could have actually thought was like, okay, well, I'm already supply blocked.
So I'm just going to not commit to this.
Exactly. I'm not getting too many Mutalisks right now. I just get 5, shut down his drop play. I already have my 4 bases, and I just make sure that Polt doesn't get his third or that it never pays off. And he did a great job here. And Polt, on the other hand, was so far behind, did an excellent job nonetheless, and was always trying to wait for a mistake of his opponent to happen, maybe get in a lucky drop that could put him back into the picture, but it did not happen as SuHoSin was just well aware of what could kill him.
He's very well practiced in this matchup. It's very, I mean, it showed very much so in that last game. I mean, he is basically only prepared for one matchup. We are going to have our first PvT of the night, which is going to be Vines versus Ryung here. Vines already currently up a game. By the way, both our players from that last game, Polt and Suho, are going to be 1-1 now in the group. Ryung is down in this one though. Or,
no, he's up.
Sorry.
He's up a game.
I don't know why I was thinking that. No, yeah, both of these guys are. Well, Ryung is up 1-0 and Vines is down 0-1 after losing his 6-pool game.
No. Vines won.
Well, yeah, I'm like saying everything wrong.
Don't worry, that's why you got me.
Listen, man, this collared shirt is too distracting. We are jumping into our first PvT between Vines from the Team Empire and Slayers Ryung here at the GSL Up and Down matches with Caldor and Wolf.